Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lenz and you're watching Get Germanized, another splendid Car of Thoughts Q&A with my two special guests, Kevin and Vlog Dave. Hallo, hallo.
I'm on board. What should I do?
Ich weiß.
Get Germanized.
In the last episode, we took your questions and transformed them into a livid discussion of amazing Germanness. And today we're going to do the same thing, hopefully. And we're going to discuss different questions that you have asked me on my social media, for example, Instagram or Snapchat or the community tab in YouTube, anything, Facebook, all of that good stuff. Twitter can also be found in the video description if you want to ask me questions in the future and for a future episode as well. And the first question that we have taken on today, or that we are about to take on, is what is your favorite German dish or food?
I think Kohlrouladen.
That's a good choice. Could you explain what that is exactly?
Basically, it's mincemeat with cabbage, usually white cabbage, rounded.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like a thick steak, and but it's like that, like mincemeat with cabbage around it.
Yeah, it's very nice, and it's roasted, I think, in a pot or in the pot, right? Not in the oven.
I usually do that in the oven,
Oh,
but
okay.
I think depends.
I thought it's kind of like a crock pot dish, like a Langzeitkocher or something.
You can do that too. Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's just the shape of why it's called.
The shape of you.
Oh,
Yes.
Ed Sheeran in the house.
Dave, what's your favorite dish?
Well, I guess we are fans of cabbage then, because
Kevin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
The first thing that popped up in my mind was Grünkohl. I think it's green cabbage, Grünkohl,
Grünkohl, yeah, green cabbage, I think, or
with potatoes, obviously.
was it kale?
Okay, might be.
I think it's kale. Grünkohl, yeah,
Grünkohl.
but cooked kale.
Cooked kale with potatoes, Kartoffeln.
Kartoffeln.
A nice sauce with that, and well, what else? Mettwurst in that. Very delicious type of sausage.
Like a salami, right?
Salami, yeah, similar to salami. I mean, then again, people could argue, okay, is it really a German dish? Because, potatoes are not originally from Germany. But hey, it is a German dish. Let me put it this way. It is. It really is.
But as you can see, German food, very hearty, very meaty, lots of carbs and, I guess protein as well because of the meat, but a lot of pork. I think all of our dishes so far, all of their dishes had pork in it. And that's actually an assumption that someone made recently about me, or about Germans, I suppose, that we have a lot of pork dishes. And that is true, we do. But also a lot of beef dishes. And then in third place, I think chicken, I would say, maybe as a meat.
Yeah.
We actually have a German term for that kind of, or those kinds of dishes, because we usually refer to them as Hausmannskost, which is like a houseman's food. Very meaty in a way, and very delicious, of course.
Indeed, and my favorite dish is nonetheless... Oh, a beagle doggy. Oh, very cute. Hello, doggo. Anyway, my favorite German dish is very similar, I guess, insofar that it has a lot of carbs and some protein. It's mashed potatoes, so Kartoffelbrei with sauerkraut and Kassler. Kassler is also pork, I think, a pork cutlet or something like that, I'm not sure. Very delicious, but also, again, has meat in it. Can you guys think of any vegetarian German dish that you would really like to recommend, maybe for our vegetarian viewers?
I guess German bread.
Yes, okay.
German dishes that are without the meat, basically. You can eat they can eat sauerkraut. They can eat the cabbage that we use.
True. What comes to mind for me is Spätzle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Käsespätzle is not vegan.
It's a very
Vegetarian.
a very Swabian dish.
Yeah. Or Maultaschen filled not with meat but with, like, it's basically dumplings, German dumplings filled with vegetables, I guess. Or Camembert with Preiselbeeren.
Oh yeah.
Like Camembert, the cheese, I think it's in a batter and then fried in the pan with cheese inside, and then on the outside you have like cranberry sauce, and that is super delicious, really nice. Or you can use jam, I guess, as well, or something like that. That is something very very nice as well. Is it offered in Bavarian more so though, right?
I think so. Yeah, Leberkäse.
Liver cheese.
Liver cheese.
And has nothing to do with liver or cheese though.
Yeah.
It's meat.
It's a Bavarian type of dish. It's a type of meat because it looks like a loaf of meat as a whole. So that is why that name, or how that name came about at some point, as far as I know. And to some degree, you could argue, although you wouldn't think of that at first, that kebab is also a German type of food because it was invented in Germany. So the Döner, as we call
Just
it.
like hamburger.
Yeah.
From Hamburg, obviously, right? Not. So he means the American hamburgers, because we have a town in Germany that's called Hamburg. Most of you will know this, but I don't think hamburgers actually originated there. Right?
The first one was actually made there. That's why they're called hamburger, but they were cultivated somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
But was it really a traditional hamburger like they exist nowadays?
I don't think they count it as their traditional, but it was just made there.
Someone in Hamburg went like, I'm so sick of all the damn fish on my bread rolls all the time. And then he just put like a meat patty, like a beef patty in between a bread roll and said like, wow, wow, wow. And then somewhere else in the world, wow, as well. And then, yeah, that's how they came to be, maybe, I'm not sure.
All right.
Unofficial hamburger origin story.
There seems to be something about calling certain dishes and pastries after German cities. Frankfurter, because we have Frankfurter Bockwürstchen, Frankfurt sausages. Nürnberger is another type of sausage. And we also have Berliner, which is usually the type of, for people living in Berlin. Berlin citizens are Berliner. But it's also a kind of pastry.
A delicious pastry filled with jam.
Yeah.
Like it's basically a jam donut, just without the hole in the middle.
Very true. Very true. So
Very nice.
We are in a forest-like region at the moment, by the way.
Good job, Kim.
Yeah.
That happens to me sometimes as well.
I don't know where we are, but yeah.
Careful, there's like a big puddle. Sometimes that happens with me when I do these Car Thoughts episodes by myself as well, because I'm more concentrated sometimes. I'm concentrating on driving, yes, but not necessarily where exactly I'm going. I'm like, I don't care where I'm going, so I'm just, left, right, left, right, left, right. And then I end up in forests or stuff like this.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we have to go anywhere where you want, actually. Yeah, this way. Let's go
this way.
Let's go this way.
Lost in German woods.
Yeah, while talking about German dishes and pastries.
Yeah.
Something else that I really enjoy German food-wise is, of course... Nice. Oh, God.
I think there are some sticks below my car.
Yeah, it sounded like that for a minute at least, not anymore. But now I lost my train of thought, mein Gedankenzug.
Talking about pastries, I think you said something.
Yeah, but Nussecken is a good one too.
Yeah.
Nut corners. Nut corners is basically a type of German pastry. It's
Yes, we Germans like to nut in the corner.
Oh God. It's very thick.
Yeah.
Thick nuts.
I think it has... What does it have on the inside? Marzipan? and stuff?
No, it's
Depends.
I actually I make them myself. They have you can do them with jam.
Okay. I don't eat them with jam. I haven't so far.
With Edelsteine?
Not jams. Jam. Marmalade.
Marmalade. That's like an English name. At least we had this an English guy named girl named Marmalade in English class, like in 6th grade or something.
Really?
Yes.
Marmalade. Marmalade.
Mom get late.
But anyway, Nussecken, like the nut corners, Google them. It's delicious. And yeah, let's I think move on to the next question.
What are forest woods like?
Just look outside.
Just look outside. Yeah.
I think I see a car there.
So we're not outside of civilization just yet.
No.
Damn.
I think I need to wash my car now.
Probably.
Or it's washing it for me.
I doubt that, but holy
Both.
shit. Anyway.
See, it's like that in Germany. 1 minute you are in a German city, and the next moment you are in the middle of nowhere.
You're somewhere.
Yeah,
in Germany.
somewhere.
Okay, that's a good question. The next one is, what's your favorite outdoor activity in Germany?
Driving through woods.
Driving through woods. Actually, I mean, just about the topic real quick about just driving around. Because some person once said like, why are you doing that? You're just driving around for no reason. It's so bad for the environment. I mean, to be honest, one car more or less won't really do anything, and I'm not driving around for no reason. We're producing content for you guys. We're showing you around Germany and answering questions about Germany. I don't think that's for no reason. If I look at these people, like these teenagers that sometimes just drive in a circle around a bar or a restaurant just to show off their car, that's driving around for no reason. But anyway, favorite outdoor activity for me personally, like you can see that on the left there's people with their dogs. Just being outside with your dog or just going for a walk, going for a hike, that's a lot of fun for me. Oh, those are beautiful doggos, German Shepherds I think, right? Look like wolves almost, so fluffy and big. But yeah, hiking is definitely one. A newly found love for a special outside activity is flying my drone, because it's just super fun just to fly it and to get this view from up above. It's really cool. At some point I want to buy like VR glasses for the drone.
Oh, nice.
And then I can just fly with that. That would be so sick, so cool. And biking, like just a little bike tour in summer is a lot of fun, or can be a lot of fun. And sometimes, very rarely, I go jogging in a forest. I like that too. Or taking photos outside, like photography.
Yeah.
Is a lot of fun for me as well. Let's try it that way.
I think so too.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for me, I think. Dave?
Yeah, definitely taking photos outside, and just like simple, normal things like going out for a walk. For instance, also somewhere you don't really know all too well, and you explore new places, or even exploring places you've known for many years, but you still see new details. That's always fun. Just exploring and, well, feeling the nature. That is something that I really like. I also like maybe like taking the dog out. I mean, I don't have a dog myself, but when I'm...
So you take the dog out?
When I'm...
So you
With
don't
the
need
dogs
to ask
out?
that question.
Who
Yeah.
take the dog out?
When I'm here at Vukos, for instance, when we go for a walk with Shari, that's always fun. I like that.
I don't know where we are, but...
No, just go to the right, maybe.
And yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I would really like to have a little bike tour this year with our bicycles, because I haven't really done that in a long time.
Would you say you want to ride your bicycle?
Yeah,
You want to ride your bike?
my bike.
A Queen song, anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Queen references are always great.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'd say we should do that in the summer, like have a little bike tour.
I don't have a bike, but yeah.
Me neither. That's the problem. But
we could rent some in a cool city or something like that. Like
Yeah.
we could go to Amsterdam and then ride the bikes around the city and the outskirts of the city,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
nature areas. That would
Yeah,
be fun,
something
probably.
like that. I mean, just like riding a bike again would be great.
Loco.
Yeah. What about you, Kevin? MC Kevin.
MC Kevin. Well, outside usually like sightseeing, of course.
Oh yeah, I forgot about sightseeing in cities and stuff.
In cities, not even in cities, but everywhere, like wilderness, cities.
Wilderness cities, like the Gangan city.
Yes. Or in cities, or on famous places like the Hermannsdenkmal, or
Hermannsdenkmal. Yeah.
yes,
The monument of Herman.
the monument of Herman. Yes. Herman the German.
Herman the he indeed was Herman the German.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, but I forgot about that actually. You're right, sightseeing. Huh? What else? If you have anything else, I mean.
Most of the stuff outside that I usually do, sightseeing, like when we travel, or
Just being outside.
Well, to be honest, due to my work, I am not outside that often in comparison to other people, I suppose. I spend a lot of time editing and stuff. So when I go outside, I actually love to explore something new, to see new things. For example, I don't really love so much just walking the same area and path all the time. So if I have the choice between doing that or watching a show on the internet or something like that, I probably choose the show on the internet, because at least it gives me some new experience, while just going for the sake of being outside. If I don't have anything new to explore, that's usually not necessarily something I like doing. But if it comes to exploring something I've never seen before, experienced before, then definitely that. Anyway, I think we should move on to the next question. What terrible movie do you love? So any movie, not only German, but any movie. A terrible one, so B movie kind of.
Who Killed Captain Alex?
I have never seen that. What is that?
That's the $200 African film that I.
Yeah, but you described it to me, but not to the audience. So.
Basically, it's a guy in Uganda. In a village, he wanted to make a video, and he made it like in his village, like with a $200 camera and a computer that he built from thrown out parts, basically built together. It only has memories for one movie, so he deleted that movie after putting it on a disc and made it so he can make another one.
Okay.
Basically, it's you can see the budget. But it's really fun film, and you can see the passion of the guys making it.
So basically, it's just about this African dude who wants to make a movie with low budget.
Yeah.
Okay, and crazy stuff happens or not so? Okay.
Yeah, really crazy stuff.
Okay.
Especially the special effects.
Okay, that sounds like a fun movie to watch, actually.
Yeah.
What about you, Dave?
Rather a tough question.
And you can watch it on YouTube. Actually, it's full on there.
Nice.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are many people that dislike the Resident Evil movies when they compare it to the games, because they don't really match the game's plots and stuff and what happens there. But I actually like them. I mean, they're not like masterpieces necessarily, but well, good movies. Not really like totally bad movies, I don't think. Then again, there are movies that also, I guess, many people don't really like all that much or aren't the biggest fan of. For instance, the National Treasure movies with Nicolas Cage. In German, it's Das Vermächtnis der Tempelritter or Das Vermächtnis des Geheimbuches, those two movies.
But I wouldn't really count those as like trash movies, because they're Hollywood movies.
Yeah, it's not really trash movies.
Just because they're Hollywood doesn't mean that they are good.
Okay.
I mean...
Okay, I'll count them.
When it comes to that, but it's like a trash movie on purpose in a way, would be Kung Fury.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
That would be my choice. And the soundtrack is really cool, the theme song.
True Survivor by David Hasselhoff.
That's actually a really good song.
It is. A surprisingly well-made song.
Yeah. But apart from that, you know, before I actually watch a movie or decide on watching a movie, I usually know if it's supposed to be good or not. So I don't really watch trash movies necessarily.
Well, but movies maybe from your childhood that you really loved back then. I have a few in mind actually.
Okay.
That I will mention in a minute.
But are nowadays considered trash movies?
Yeah.
Like Space Jam.
Space Jam. Well, I mean, I think Space Jam is nice.
I like it too, but it's considered to be a trash movie actually.
Yeah, but what I was thinking of, what would make my list, is actually like Masters of the Universe, the old He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren. That is a trash movie, and that is a fantastic example, I think, because back in the day when I was a kid, I loved that movie so much. I thought it was so cool, and if you rewatch that now, it's just like, or the, what's it called, the old Flash Gordon movie. And there's even one that always came on New Year's Eve at the later hours that is called Flash Gordon, like Flash. Flash Gordon, so like the flesh of a human, right? And it's more like a softcore porn movie kind of, but I don't remember there actually being any sex scenes or anything like that in it. It's more like they went through an asteroid field. Basically asteroids that look like butts with like corks in the back. And then they were like, oh, they're about to burst, oh no! And then and shit like that happened in their movie, right?
So like parody movies like
Spaceballs.
Like Meet the Spartans.
Meet the Spartans, or Spaceballs, or anything like that. It's not like a super high quality movie, but it's kind of funny. I still love Spaceballs, to be honest.
I think I still like it these days, today. Would be Scary Movie 3. That is a movie that I used to watch as a teen or as a kid.
Generally, scary movies.
Definitely trash movies for sure.
Yeah, that's a very good one, I think.
That's an interesting question. The next one. What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about you personally? Like, for example, what do you think other people think about you that is not really true? If there's anything that comes to mind. I think that's a very interesting question. And at the end of this, we can also talk about misconceptions for Germans. But maybe if you can think of anything of which you know it's not true, that you're different, but people seem to think a certain way about you. If anyone can think of anything.
Well, people don't think that I have corpses in my cellar.
Corpses, alright.
Just kidding. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I'm not sure of misconceptions about me.
Because we never tell you what we think about you, eh? No, just kidding. Well, Dave, maybe you can answer that question.
Judging from comments I've read under my videos and under Vuko's videos, many people, or not many people necessarily, but some people think that I'm Turkish or like an Arab person from Arabia, or I have ancestors there or relatives living there, and as far as I know, that is not true at all. Because I don't know of any people in my family from that region. What I do know is that I have French ancestors from the Côte d'Azur area, like southern France. I think relatively close to Spain, actually. I don't know. Not too sure about that though. Yeah, interesting question, but I don't really know. I mean, it's hardly ever the case that people really tell you what they think of you in that retrospect, so difficult to answer, actually.
True. By the way, we are in a town called Seelenfeld. It means like the field of souls.
Soulfield.
Soulfield, yeah, that's super cool.
Could be a location in an RPG, fantasy RPG.
Basically.
Yeah, or in medieval in the game.
I thought that was a cool name.
Yeah.
And about me, well, that's a good question. I mean, people online think different things about me personally, probably, than people that know me just from hearsay, or that went to school with me but don't really know me, that just know me, they know who I am, but they don't really know my personality. They maybe have heard things and that's all they know about me, and that doesn't really count as Seelenfeld. I don't think I really know what they think about me, so but I mean, people online have said, or they often say, I am like a super nice person that never gets angry and that is always super patient and stuff like that. That's not necessarily always true. I get impatient sometimes. I can have bad days. I get angry at stuff sometimes. I'm just a normal human being as well. I hope, I like to think so, at least. I mean, I'm a lizard person, of course. But I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing, though, because you never know really what people think about you, what people say behind your back, or what people maybe just personally think about you as a person. We could start some really awkward conversation now about what we think about each other, but let's not do that.
But then again, I think the plain thought of people having misconceptions about you and telling you those misconceptions anonymously on YouTube, for instance, in YouTube comments, sometimes that's also quite funny, because you know it's not true, but if people really strongly believe that what they think about you is true, even though they don't really know you as a person, that can be quite entertaining, I think. So
yeah, that's why I made these videos recently.
Yeah.
And I can only recommend that to anyone. If you're interested in what people think about you, really think about you, just let them do that anonymously, because then people really go all out. To be honest, because I didn't really do that anonymously, people's usernames still showed up, right? So maybe for the next episode, what I'm going to do is I'm only going to open like really an anonymous thing where I can't see anything, just the text, because that exists, right? I don't remember the name of the site at the moment, but you can create a link for people to enter something, answer a question, and you don't really see who was it at all. And of course, then people probably go trolling and stuff like that as well, but you will have some honest things in between that might be very interesting. Maybe I send that to every one of you as well, and then you can type some stuff in.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because then I can really just go into detail in the video as well, and maybe reflect as well. Because sometimes we see ourselves in a certain way, but maybe other people don't think about you that way at all, right? So it's interesting. I don't know.
May also be some missing information about yourself that you don't like. I mean, like in Japan, it's said that one person has three faces. One that he shows everyone, basically. One that he only shows his closest friends, and one that he only shows himself.
Yeah, makes sense. So you really only know what's inside of you.
Yes.
Yeah, there are some things I think that I have never told people at all, and that I never might.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just normal, I think. And of course, people who don't really know you, they will have misconceptions about you as well. It's just normal. For example, I think that some people who see me as a YouTuber think I'm thinking of myself as someone better or arrogant or whatever, because I have a job in which I have a lot of freedom and stuff like that and get to do what I want. And some people maybe think I'm really poor because I don't make so much money. I don't know. And that's just like all these different conceptions about someone you don't really know. And it's just normal, I think. I mean, it's like gossip, basically. You talk shit about people that you don't really know. And I just think that's in human nature at some point. You can't really change that so much.
I agree with everything you've just said. And also what Kevin just mentioned is really interesting, because I've also read about that in like philosophical texts and social, psychological contexts, for instance, in my studies back in the day when I went to university. There are different types of self, like of your personality and different roles you play in different contexts, because I mean, it's something normal because when you imagine yourself talking to a friend, you actually talk to those people differently than you talk to a stranger. So there is no... When you conclude that or like think that to the end, I think there is no real situation in which you show your whole personality to anyone, even not to yourself, because you might be unaware of some character traits of yourself as well, without knowing that, of course.
That's why I talked about the perceived reality of yourself that you live in. Because you might think you're this way, but maybe underneath all these layers of consciousness you really think different about some things or would act differently, and you don't even know it.
But do you think that is like a rather scary thought, that you don't really know all about yourself?
I mean, it's just normal because, for example, in a survival situation, you don't really know how you would react in a war situation, or when you're starving, or when your life is threatened, or the life of someone you love, or the life of your friends, or whatever. That's just, we don't live in a time where that is normal, at least not in our country. And so we don't really know. We can say we would do a certain thing. For example, like a close family member always says like, yeah, I would never do that. Like in this and that time, I would act completely different. I'm like, dude, you don't really know if you would, because how do you know that? You can say that, and we can live in this idealistic way of thinking about ourselves in this, goody two-shoes manner, but we don't know what we would do. Read Lord of the Flies. They ate each other for Christ's sakes.
It's all theoretical knowledge to some point, to some extent, because you can't know. If you haven't been in a situation like that, you can't really tell for sure. So,
Indeed.
Well, what you're saying, what I'm going to do then is logical thinking.
Yeah.
But when you're in that situation, some emotions might come between that and you.
And it's just survival at some point too.
And that's also, like, the whole topic is very philosophical, which I really like personally. And that's a very good point, actually, because most decisions we make, whether they are consciously or subconsciously made, they are decisions that we make based on emotions rather than reason. Because as much as we like to think, okay, we are totally controlled by our reason and our possibility to think as human beings and use our minds, that is not always the case. Just in a very few situations that is the priority. So, yeah.
But anyway, guys, let us know what you think about that topic and everything else we spoke about in this video in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Click the join button next to the subscription button if you want to support this channel. There are also other possibilities to support the channel in the video description. Also social media if you want to hand in a question or an assumption for a next video that we might make or I might make. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.